Hello, my name is Kelly Bluen. I am a certified Zentangle teacher. Welcome to 15 Minutes of Zen. In these videos, I show you how to make one tangle using the Zentangle method of drawing. Each of these tangles are meant to be put together on larger paper tiles with other tangles. So this is just a single one by itself, but you can definitely use it with other tangles as well. Okay, today I'm using a Micron pen. This is a PN, plastic nib pen. I have a graphite pencil for drawing and shading, and I have a blending tool called a tortillon. I'm also using a bijou tile, which is a 2-inch by 2-inch tile from Zentangle.com. All of these materials are available on Zentangle.com, or you can reach out to me on my Facebook page called Let's Tangle. All right, you can also use anything you have on hand. Any pen, pencil, and paper will work. So today's tangle is called Mimi's. It's a beautiful tangle. It is a flower, and I just love it. We're kind of at the end of our summer season here in Michigan in the United States. And I want to just hold on to these flowers as long as I can until fall and snow comes. Okay, so we're going to start by putting a little dot in each of the 4 corners and then connecting those with a line. We do this very lightly. All right, we've got a little frame for our work. And if you've followed me before, I tend to go outside of the frame, so it's okay. That's why we draw it in pencil. All right, so Mimi's is a floral pattern, and I'm going to be putting one right here and then one down over here. So I'm going to start with pencil, and then I will switch to pen and trace over it, okay? So to make this beautiful little flower, we start with like a smiley face or a U or just a curve. And then at the center, we're going to put this tall petal that starts thin at the bottom and gets a little bit wider at the top. And then we're going to jump off of that petal. So we're going to go to the side here, jump off and curve down. Going to do that on both sides, jump off and curve down. And I've only got room for one more, so I'm going to do it one more time, jump off and come down, jump off and come down. I've drawn these before where I've got room for another one on each side. It doesn't matter, there's no right or wrong. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and pick up my pen now and trace that. If you want to continue on in pencil, go right ahead. I've got that little smiley face. First petal. All the way to the edge. I like it so far. Okay. So now when Miranda Gerber does this, she has a lot of different options. There is more to this, but in the center here, you can leave these blank, or you can add some little patterns. So I'm going to go ahead and put in a line and a dot in each one. Before I forget. Okay, the next part of this, we're going to be putting a petal at the top. And this petal is going to go, let's see, maybe you can just watch me first before you make it. I'm going to go about halfway across the top of this. And I'm going to go up, curve down, up, and come back. It doesn't have to be that tall. I made that one kind of tall. And I'm going to do the same thing on the bottom. That little petal shape that dips down in the center. Okay. Then I'm going to do one off to the side, but I'm going to let it come off of this one so it looks like it's tucking behind. And I'm going to leave space for another one down here. So I go off to the side, bump up, down, and around. And then my last one is going to tuck behind both of those. Isn't that so cute? All right, and then she adds these little hash marks or flick marks. So we're going to go up just on each of these petals. And if you'd like to make them kind of curve so they look like, you know, maybe the petals curving a little bit, you can do that. Doesn't matter how many you put in each one. Okay. Another little detail that she does is she puts this little bit of darkening in between those petals. Almost like a little shadow. It's very subtle, but it adds so much. Beautiful. And I'm going to go ahead and go around the outside of this again, just to darken it a little bit. Okay, so that's Mimi. And now if I were to do this in a larger tile, I think I would make a bunch of these in a group. And I would vary the petals, I would vary the center. But for this one, we're gonna eventually add a stem to make it look like it's growing. Okay, but before we do that, let's go on to the second one. And I'm just gonna go ahead and do this in pen. If you would like to do pencil to start out with, go right ahead. So I'm gonna make a little bit larger curve this time. I don't know why. I just need to force myself sometimes to make things larger or smaller and make them more interesting. Okay, then we put in this first center petal. Then we go off the side and down. And I had room for an extra one. I didn't on that side, so I'm just gonna go with it. Now I could add another one if I wanted to. Actually, maybe I will. Okay, I feel better. She also has a version where she points the top of these and it looks so cool. It looks completely different. All right, so on this one, instead of doing the line and the dot, we're going to darken the center one up about halfway, leaving it a little choppy right there. And then we're going to come down from the top, not all the way, right about there. And that gives it this curved look with a little bit of a reflection. So I'm going to do it over on this one. I'm going to skip one and go to the next, leaving that little space. And if I didn't have these two end ones, it would still look amazing. So there's so many different things you can do in the center. Okay, now I'm going to add this top petal. So I kind of go in the middle. So from between the very center and the end, I'm going to go in the middle of that. And add that petal there. And one at the bottom. Then I'm going to do one on each side of the top. So I come out the top. And if it bumps into the other flower, just imagine where it would go behind and come back out the other side. And then the last one. And just like before, I'm going to add those little flicks. It's so cute. And then I'm actually going to aura this one, which means I'm just going to make a thin line around the outside. I'm going to stop right here so I can add the stem first. Look at how cool that looks. All right, to make the stem, again, you could just make a whole bunch of these. They don't need to have stems. But if you want to, I'm going to make them go right over my frame, and I'm widening them at the top and then making them more narrow as they go lower. And I'll finish that aura. You could even put a couple of little lines in there if you want to. Make another one that way. These are so cute. All right, and then she had some really fun, like spindly little things on them. But something else that she had that I thought was really cute is she uses the same shape of a petal to make a leaf. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I go up, and I just do that little dip there and come down. And I can even do another one behind it. I just love that, how she uses that same shape. Put some flicks in there. Can even do some coming off the top. And over here, I'll do another one. I love it. All right, I do need a little spindly thing right here. I don't know why, I just do. Okay, and then before I do my shading, I'm going to go ahead and put that border back in. Just lifting my pen whenever I get to a petal or a leaf or a stem. Look how cute that looks. I know I tend to rush in these 15 minutes. I apologize for that. Hopefully you know you can pause it at any time. But I want to have time to do some shading. So I'm going to grab my little pencil. And I'm going to start with this one up here. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put some graphite in the bottom of that center area. Take my blending tool and push it up and away from that line. So cute. And now I'm going to go around this whole center. So I'm going to add graphite all the way around it. And also, I'm going to give these little petals a shadow if they're tucked behind another one. So right here I have that first petal I made. This one is tucking behind, so I can give it a little shadow right there. where one overlaps the other. Same thing right here. This one goes over this one. I'm going to give it a little shadow. This one goes over this one. I give it a little shadow. And now when I spread this out, I'm going away from the line that I put that graphite on. See how it makes those just kind of pop out and be a little bit three-dimensional? I can also soften all the way around that centerpiece. Oh, it's so pretty. All right, I'm going to go ahead and do this one. I'm going to do that center area first, pushing that up and away from the line and towards the center. Makes it look so round. And then I'm going to put it all the way around the outside of that center bud. And then I'm going to take these petals, and every time one goes over another, add a little shadow. Add a little shadow. Take my blending tool. I'm going to soften this middle first by pushing away from the line that I had with my pencil. And then I soften these little edges, pushing it away from that line. And then because I have a flower overlapping another one, I'm going to put a shadow along that. Look how cute that is. I'm also going to add some underneath the petal where the stem begins. Push that down and away. And then on these leaves, I'm going to put some at the bottom and a little bit at the top. And that kind of gives the illusion that the top is sort of bending backwards, tipping away from the sun. Okay, and we've got this cute little frame, and if I had time, I might add an aura or decorate it a little bit. But since we're out of time, I'm just going to add some graphite in the center. And I'm going to go around these flowers. So on the inside of the line, and then also around those flowers, around the stem. And what that does is creates this little shadow in the back. Giving those just a little bit more dimension. I forgot to put some along here, but that's okay. I had enough on my tortillon that it worked out just fine. All right, that was a lot in 15 minutes. I hope you loved it. Again, that's called Mimi. I'm going to put my initials on here. And on the back, I'll add the date and a little journal entry about what's going on in my life. And I hope you enjoy it. Have a wonderful week. And we'll see you next time for 15 Minutes of Zen. Thank you. Bye-bye.